Jared awoke on the sands of an unfamiliar island, the scent of salt clinging to his torn clothes. Waves still licked his feet as he tried to recall how he got there. His cruise ship had vanished in a storm, and now he found himself alone, or so he thought. As he staggered inland, he heard laughter, voices, feminine ones. Soon, he was surrounded by women of all ages. They lived on the island, isolated for reasons they didn't immediately share. Jared was the first man they had seen in years. Their leader, a graceful woman named Elira, welcomed him cautiously. Jared, still dazed, wondered if this was a dream or a trap. The women offered shelter, food, and strange hospitality. Jared learned that the island was self-sustaining. They grew their food, purified their water, and had formed their own community after fleeing a world they deemed corrupt. Despite his confusion, Jared began to settle in, enchanted by their kindness and their beauty. But as days turned to weeks, boundaries began to blur. Some of the women grew close to him, emotionally and physically. Jared, lost and lonely, let himself be consumed. What began as innocent connection morphed into indulgence. The island became not just a refuge, but a place of temptation, and yet, deep within, a strange unease stirred in Jared's heart. Something about this paradise felt too detached from purpose. Life on the island took on a surreal rhythm. Each day was warm, filled with the soft winds and golden fruit, laughter and desire. Jared found himself caught in the company of many, drawn in by charm, curiosity, and longing. The women treated him not as a leader or captive, but as a symbol of something they had long missed: affection, validation, and closeness. Elira watched quietly. She herself kept a distance, often spending her evenings staring at the horizon. She spoke rarely, but when she did, her words carried weight. Pleasure without meaning, she once said to Jared, is just another form of loneliness. Despite the sensual freedom around him, Jared began to feel hollow. What was once alluring became repetitive. He noticed sadness in some women's eyes when they thought he wasn't looking. Even the sunsets, once mesmerizing, seemed to ask silent questions. One evening, a young woman named Rayla wept in Jared's arms. "I don't want to keep pretending," she whispered. "This was never supposed to be our life." Her vulnerability shook Jared. It cracked open something inside him. For the first time since his arrival, he prayed. He didn't know to whom. He just whispered into the wind, "If there's a reason I'm here, show me." The sky changed suddenly the next morning. Clouds rolled in like a dark army. Thunder growled. The sea turned violent, waves crashing violently against the island. Elira gathered everyone to the central hall. "This island has always protected us," she said, "but we have taken more than we gave. We lived as if consequence does not exist. Perhaps this storm is not just weather, but a warning." Lightning struck a tall palm tree near the crops, setting it ablaze. Fear spread. Jared and some of the women tried to douse the fire, but the winds only spread it. In the chaos, people wept, screamed, and ran. Jared found Rayla hiding in the chapel-like hut where Elira meditated. Elira arrived, soaked, her hair clinging to her skin. She looked at Jared and said, "Now we face what we tried to forget, the truth." As they huddled together through the night, Jared spoke of guilt, of desire, of emptiness. Elira listened, then wept herself. "Maybe we needed you," she said. remember who we once were. The storm passed by morning. What remained was silence, broken trees, charred land, and tearful faces. The crops were half burnt. The island, once lush, now bore scars. But those scars mirrored the ones inside them. Jared rose early. He wandered to the beach where he first arrived. There, he fell to his knees, not out of despair, but reverence. He felt something watching, not judging, just waiting. Rayla joined him, silent, carrying a book wrapped in cloth. "We found this in the chapel," she said. "It washed ashore years ago. We never opened it." It was a copy of the Quran. Jared opened the pages gently. The verses, though foreign in tongue, radiated calm. He read a translation aloud. "Indeed, with hardship comes ease." The words struck deep. That day, no one sought pleasure. They sought silence, reflection, and truth. For the first time, they sat not in circles of desire, but circles of repentance. Jared read more each day. The Quran seemed to speak directly to the wounds within him. Words about mercy, forgiveness, repentance. He shared verses with the others. Some listened out of curiosity, some out of hunger for hope. Elira encouraged it. "Every soul thirsts for something eternal," she said. Even if it forgets, the islanders began to change. They cleaned the chapel. They fasted, not just from food, but from indulgence. They rebuilt their shelters with intention. Jared, once a symbol of desire, now became a reminder of their awakening. He asked questions he never asked before. What is my soul? What is purpose? What does it mean to be truly good? And each time he read the Quran, answers came, not as commands, but as whispers in the heart. Weeks turned into months. The island healed. So did the people. Jared had found peace not in romance, but in surrender. He began to pray regularly, learning the words in Arabic, not for ritual, but for meaning. Raela learned with him. Others joined. Elira, too, in her quiet dignity, bowed her head in gratitude during each prayer. The island was no longer a place of escape, but of return. One night, Jared dreamed. He stood in a garden filled with light, where an angel smiled at him and said, "Even the lost may find the path, if they truly seek." When he awoke, he knew what he had to do. He declared his shahada by the sea, the islanders watching. "I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger." Tears flowed freely. The island rejoiced, not with music or dance, but with peace. Jared taught what he knew. He was no scholar, but he taught sincerity. The islanders followed. They farmed again, with humility. They shared stories of their past mistakes without shame. They no longer saw Jared as a guest or temptation. He was their brother, their imam, their reminder that even in darkness, light waits. One morning, a boat appeared on the horizon. It had been years since anyone came. Elira looked at Jared. "Do you wish to go?" He paused. "No," he said. "This island is not exile. It is our beginning." And so they stayed, not out of guilt, but out of gratitude. Jared began writing. Pages filled with his reflections, confessions, and newfound faith. Elira helped compile them. They sealed the writings in bottles and cast them into the sea. "Let these be messages," Jared said, "from the island that once forgot God and found him again." Some bottles reached shores. Some were read, and some hearts far away began to ask, Who is Allah? What is repentance? Can I return too? The island became more than a hidden place. It became a beacon, not of sin but of salvation. 1 year after the storm, rain fell again. But this time, it was soft, gentle, nourishing. The fields bloomed again. So did the hearts. On that day, they held a prayer together. Men and women side by side, not in passion, but in peace. Jared looked at them and said, "This is what paradise feels like. Not the place, but the state of our hearts." Raela smiled. It began with a shipwreck, but truly, we were all already adrift. Now, they had all come home. The island had no name before, but now they called it Noor, the island of light. Visitors eventually came. Some stayed, some left changed, but all who arrived felt the strange peace that lived in the air, the trees, the soil. Jared aged with grace. Elira, Raela, and the others lived not in regret, but in purpose. They laughed, prayed, taught, and remembered. And when Jared's time came, he was buried facing the Qibla, under a tree he once planted with trembling hands. Above his grave, they placed a stone that read, "He came lost, but he returned."